I tried to just record a regular video and upload it, but storage went full. So we were right in the middle. Oh, hold on. What it is, you guys, it is yo girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the drama life prison wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping to see justice before all face to black. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, I was doing my $1.25 tree haul. If you want to see the first part of it, I'll link the video in the description box after the live, and it is currently uploading, so it might come out really soon. Like, girl, we got to hit the algorithm at all angles. So I'm trying to upload some videos and then some lives and then get back to my shorts eventually. You know what I mean? But anyways, let's get back into it. $1.25 tree crafters haul. Yeah, it wouldn't let me zoom on the regular video. I keep messing up my spacing. I'm trying to lay this out. This is what layout would be in graphic design. Correct spacing between objects. Figuring out how to fit all kinds of items together and make it look decent. So let's go ahead and put these in there. Trying to structure this so I can take me a thumbnail. Take me a nice little thumbnail picture, because y'all know I don't never have a thumbnail. Oh, yes, I do. The picture takes a quick thumbnail. So let's finish my haul so we can get back into video reviews and chatting while we finish working on these drawings back here. Y'all see me yesterday on live start my Valentino Dixon inspired piece. I'm gonna do a golf course. You know, Valentino got out of his artist box, and that's not easy for us artists sometimes to get out of our boxes, because we're so stuck on whatever niche of art. That can go for anything. Even in YouTube, we're stuck in our niche. Like, I had somebody say, well, maybe, I get weird about this situation that I want. It's broken. I want to be a prison wife YouTuber. But someone told me, like, maybe you're not supposed to be one. And then I had another prison wife saying that I really enjoy your content. You're funny. I love the things you do, but you just don't give me prison wife. Like, prison wives are reviewing other stuff. The back is coming off. I don't have any tape. I'm just pulling this off just to keep that back on there the correct way. I don't want it to mess up. I didn't know it was shredded like this on the back of this piece here. Well, that's the one good thing. I only paid $1.25. So I just patched that up so it doesn't ravage too much. But that brings me to my next item that I bought. These shapes here. Like, this shape, it was so popular. At one point in graphic design school, everybody had this little shape in our how many sizes is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dang, I forgot what type of polygon that is that has 6 sides, but whatever. Everybody used this shape. I'm telling you, I even used it in my portfolio, my final portfolio. It's really cool, and it's a nice way. It gives you like this honeycomb shape. Let me move these down here. When you're laying out your assets and your, you do a lot with text and images. How do you put text and images together to where it looks nice and things like that? So those shapes bring character to whatever layout or design. Magazines could get boring if you didn't do like special layouts with your text and things like that, but it's like fitting a puzzle together. And I literally did not understand layout, and I was horrible at it until I finally just got it. Like for me, things don't just click. So I got 4 of these to start out with. And now what I'm picturing is, like I said with the other one, some type of like putting these together, right? They fit together. Oh, obstructing that one. They fit together somehow like this, but it paints one picture. See, you can do them like that. And then hang that up like that. That is interesting. And then that's so cool. Like with my artwork, once I put my $1 million artwork on there, girl, and then these interesting pieces, you have taken something that was 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's not forget that 25 cents they put on there, girl. So $4, $5. $5 has become a masterpiece. And I do remember this story by Joel Osteen. I love Joel Osteen. And he was saying how this guy had this old hunk of wood, and this guy came by. He was throwing it out, basically. He was like, oh, how much would you charge me for that wood? He was like, just take it. I don't want it. It's trash. Throw it out. I throwed it out. And he took it, and he carved this beautiful masterpiece out of it. And when he carved that beautiful masterpiece, he came back around to sell his art. And he sold that same piece of wood that man gave him free. He sold it to the man for thousands of dollars, right? So he was like, do you realize you just bought that hunk of wood that you gave me for free? And it was basically a story saying you don't know what value you actually hold. Like you have value, but you just don't see it until it's been, like basically until God has shaped it, molded, and all of that. And that's what, like, this is only $5. But with the art that can be applied to that, you're bringing some art that is basically, it's no price on it or a high price tag. I got this one for my daughter. It's a rose. My daughter is into roses and pink and stuff like that. That's not really me. I'm into wild, weird things. But I really like this. Like you could hang this on the wall. You could put a little pin right there and have something like having art like this just coming off the wall. But then that would make me think I need to get a couple of these. If that's the case, if we're going to do like that. You can actually attach it to another canvas or something and have it be like something like a pop out. That would be cool to get a lot of different things like that and do like a pop-up canvas or things like that. So I got that. I think that came from a different $1.25 tree. I think I showed you everything that, oh no. Oh yeah, I did show you everything that came from that $1.25 tree. No, I didn't. Because we went before with money. I got this. This is something cool. I want to do a few pieces that are inspired by Marcello coming home. This right here says home to me. Like a welcome home, Marcello preparing for him to be released in faith through, this art. Have him released and come home. Got another one, home. This was $1.25. Like, it's hard to believe that. You could paint whatever you want to design. See, for me, I wouldn't just freestyle it. I would kind of sketch this and figure out what I want to do. So I can do these things, paint them, and have my take as a prison wife on them. And then that could be on my little Etsy shop, the Prison Wife Etsy shop, right? These, I found this. Now these are kind of juvenile. You know, my Juju loves animals. He's in love with animals. His favorite of all animals is basically sea animals. So at first I passed this by a couple of times. This was $1.25. And I would always look at it, but I would never pick it up. They have a lot of animal shapes. But I'm like, you know what? The last time when I seen this, so I think that's the same animal. You got the elephant. Oh, they got two of each. Oh, just like Noah in the Ark. Two of each animal. So the last time that I seen this, because at first, like, I'm like, I don't want to buy it if I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Like, just randomly buying stuff like that. I've had a problem with things like that. But the way I'm seeing this is painting in my animal however I want. And then it's like like you said, a pop-up effect. You can have them stand up. You can place them down on other surfaces. That would be cool. This one got something on it. Paint them all together. Paint the background. Like I could, oh, and then that even looks better. Like a lot of time in layout, they would tell us to come outside the grid a little bit. Like a grid is there for a purpose, but break out the grid just a small bit. Brings it more to life. Like, girl, and then I don't think it would be on these polygon shapes, but something like that is cool. Or even with this one. Do it for a little child. Like Juju, it could have been a birthday gift. He loves animals. I could have got like a little whale shape. He loves the sea animals. Paint that as the background. Maybe one of my sunset photographies. Like I told y'all, I take sunset photography, and I said I wanted to start painting them. This would be the perfect size to paint like a sunset. That is cute. They almost like, they look like postcards, like the old school postcards. So how my grid going? I done broke my grid a little bit. Okay, so I got one last thing. I bought these. Now I know this is not, dang, I'm seeing a lot you could do with this too though. You can make some shelving, like small shelving. Like I started seeing people do a lot of DIY stuff with Dollar Tree stuff, and you're just amazed. But I got, ooh, don't mess up my grid. I got 6 of these. But I have, remember I told y'all I wanted to start, instead of telling y'all dang. It looked like something got on my wood pieces, because is there something on my hands? I wanted to, rather than just tell y'all Marcello's story, I wanted to start illustrating it with little stories, like acting out the stories. So what I want to do with this, which is what we might work on today, I told you Marcello's case is basically like a Jenga. Like a Jenga game is what, a lot of times I can't, the way I understand something is I have to relate it to something else. Almost like I got to make a metaphor to get it or to explain it to you. I might completely know what I'm trying to say, but I don't know how to relay it to you. So I'll use one of these illustrations. Like I think of things in illustration form. Why does this keep falling over? Okay, I don't know if the phone's just gonna completely drop or what. But I want to illustrate a video about Marcello's case, right? So he has the attempted robbery, right? that was not proved beyond a shadow of a doubt. I'm sorry, beyond a reasonable doubt. Then they stack the other charges on the robbery. Gave him 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 charges stacked on top of the robbery. But as explained in the jury instructions, you cannot have these without first proving the robbery. So once you knock out that robbery plank, the case collapses. Okay, so I wanted to show each plank as the charge and talk about his charges in a kind of an illustrated way. So that's the robbery, that's his other charges stacked on top. And what made it all even heavier is that alleged weapon that they never found, never recovered, no evidence of having. Once they stacked that on top of all of that. So these right here is his case. 10 years. 10 years. Oh, my phone is falling down, girl. Come on, stop playing. Then I'm tightening it up and it won't stay. This is his case, right? 10 years. But when they stacked that weapon, that alleged weapon that was never recovered, but just by stacking that on there, his case then became 40 years. And I want to illustrate that. So, thank you guys for basically joining me for my crafters haul. These are, now that we're going live and we're reviewing stuff, we are going to have so much fun with all of this. So I want to take a quick, how can I do that though? I'm going to have to screenshot from this because I don't have a way. That's how that galaxy came in handy. So these are all my pieces, and I'm just gonna have to screenshot. From that. Ooh, my grid messed up a little bit. I could see from the panning out, but it's okay, guys. It's okay. Can't be a perfectionist tonight. Okay, so let's clean all. Could you stop? Why is it not holding the phone? Okay. Is that good? Okay, guys, so I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to review. I forgot what I had planned out, what I wanted to review. But now I can't remember, girl. I'm going to start loosely making me a script of what I want to go through in this. So we're going to start painting, or at least just start sketching out the charges on these wooden planks as we review a video. We'll find us a video because we are stuck on I can play y'all. Okay, y'all know that I'm right now doing Valentino Dixon, right? That was wrongfully arrested, accused, convicted of 39 years to life. In Buffalo, New York, right? He did most of his time in Attica. Open every cell in Attica, send him to Africa. If I rule the world, imagine that. I free all God's sons. Marcello Jackson, baby. Yes. Anyways, side note. Got a song for everything. Like, girl, I love music. But yeah, so he spent time in Attica and he found his freedom. He's referred to as the artist that drew himself out of prison. So though we're still loosely on his story, I found this video. I briefly showed you John Bunn. We were reviewing him. So girl, I don't know how we're getting, I wanted to review literally one at a time, but girl, maybe this is reflective of who I am. I'm all over the place. So let's just review wrongful conviction cases. And I mean, we'll figure out the order later through playlists or whatever. But I found this one about Kevin Strickland. And I told y'all that was the guy that was wheelchair bound while he was in DLC. I watched this while I was walking. I have been in a lot of pain, a tremendous pain. I am a disabled artist. I'm not just an artist. I'm legally blind. I have all kinds of other ailments that really hinder me from just painting my life away. I paint through pain. I paint through trauma. I paint through so much different things, but it's my gift from God. And until these hands just don't move no more, I'm going to continue to create art, right? So I was out at and then also, what frees my mind and frees me from the daily matrix is going outside and going for a good walk. I got off of work hurting. I had to stop my chiropractic care because my pockets are hurting. And I'm like, how can I, scrape up and save money from wherever? And I guess I'm taking it off of my health. That's where I'm saving from. Not the best thing to do, but I mean, we have to do what we have to do in this climate, this financial climate, which is not good for us and not good for our loved ones behind bars either. So I was like, when I get off, I'm just going to go to the park. I'm going to chill, do me some stretches. Like my neck is going to bed. I have 3 herniated discs in my neck. I have TMJ in my jaw. That's why sometimes I talk weird or whatever, because I have this constant. Oh, I got some other stuff from Dollar Tree to show y'all. I was supposed to show y'all the little face massager they had at $1.25 Tree, but it didn't go with the crafters haul. So I'll do that in a separate video once I clear off some space off my baby girl's phone, girl. And so I was stretching, I was walking, I'm meditating. I feel closer to God outside. I take my sunset photography like whenever like, it's like literally God is the ultimate artist, the ultimate creator. And every single day, he creates a new painting in the sky. And each day, I promise you, and I've been documenting it, it looks different. It's so magnificent. It's even different colors. I'm like, how? Like, and if I could recreate those colors, they're so beautiful. The color palette that God chose, like, in graphic design school, we would have to do our, dang, I forgot what you call it. But it's basically all your plans. You would have your topography you use. You would have your colors you use, the brand colors, your sketches, your roughs, your everything, your plans, your all of that. Your brainstorming, all of that would be in that. The color palette that God picks is so simply amazing. And every day, like, it's different. So I just be out there snapping pictures away. And just, it's my time to, that's my one release from the matrix of, this world. It's like, I would liken it to a prisoner having that 1 hour of yard time or whatever like that. And side note, me and Marcello do get into little debates because he loves to, everything that's happening, well, at least you're free. And I'm like, are we really free? There are levels to freedom. I may have more of a level of freedom than he has, but I would bet you we're not free. You're not really free until you're financially free. And then even then, are you still free? Like, what is freedom? Because I think a lot of us are very much still bound. They have mental gates and bars out here in society, right? But I went out there and I was listening to this story, and I'm gathering my thoughts on how I'm going to continue to tell this story of Marcello being wrongfully convicted, excessively sentenced in the state of Florida. Do check out his petition. Right now, it's not in the description box. It will be later. But if you like, you can Google Marcello Jackson wrongfully convicted Florida man. His petition, his change petition should pop up right there. Which Valentino Dixon is the one that basically encouraged me to start that petition, right? So I go out there, and one of the first things I stopped as I was walking. Like, this is one of the childhood parts that I would take money to all the time. As a prison wife, I buried myself in being a mother because that wife part was gone. The family part was gone. So whatever you have left, you immerse yourself in that. So I became a all the time mother, like a super mother, a overachieving mother in motherhood, whatever. And that was the part that me and Money spent a lot of time together. Many times when I would get depressed about my husband being gone, be like, come on, Money. I wouldn't let that depression sit in. I would, let's go do this or go do that, or we'll go to a concert, or we'll. That's how I dealt with a lot of it. Like, I just cannot feel those feelings. So I get out to the park and I'm stretching and I'm listening to this is doing something to me, reviewing all these cases of people that have been freed. And I as well want to do stories on people that have not been freed, because that is a small percentage of our wrongfully incarcerated population that gets freed, a very small percentage. There's more that just stay behind bars. And I want to tell some of their stories and I'm in a lot of Facebook groups. If you have a wrongfully convicted loved one, let's tell their story. Like, come on, like, only ones that's going to help us is us. Like, nobody else is coming with a lifesaver or whatever, one of those little things that they throw out to come and help you when you're drowning. Like, we got to save ourselves, basically. SOS, save ourselves. But so I proceeded to start walking and stretching and this and that. And I stopped as soon as I got out the car, and I just looked, and I looked at the clouds and how beautiful the clouds look. Though they were kind of gloomy, like, the edge of the clouds were just so silverish and just beautiful. It did rain today, right? So it was like basically the light breaking through the darkness. So I look up, and mostly I'm looking up because these herniated discs, I'm trying to stretch that, right? And I asked God, I'm like, am I ever going to experience that release that everyone that I am reviewing has experienced? Am I, as a prison wife, going to ever experience seeing my husband come through those gates? Will that ever be my experience? And I asked God today. Still waiting on confirmation from that. But I just walked and I just listened to this video. So let's go through let's clear the table up. And then we're going to play this video. Or maybe I can play it while we're clearing the table up, because we ain't got too much more time, because I got to get on my workshop like within hours. I should just take, well, I just took a shower. I should take my shower tonight so I don't oversleep, so I can just jump out of bed. It even gets to the point where I'm like, well, maybe I should sleep in my uniform. Girl, tell me that ain't a prison. That's mental bars right there. Bounding yourself because of work. Boundaries. from work. Okay, so I want to play that Strickland video after he got out. It's a beautiful story, but as I watched him, and I mean, they literally stole this man's life. Whatever he could have been, should have been, thought of been, dreamed of being, they took it. Will I be able to find it on here? Because I don't know how to see my watch history on the laptop. I know how to do it on my tablet, but my tablet's dead. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. YouTube.
Remember that a lot of narcissistic relationship happens in your head. You try to convince your.
That's me learning about. I told y'all is this one it? I'm not angry. I'm disgusted. Yeah, his feelings were like different from Valentino Dixon's, which everybody is warranted their own reaction to this. Some are, Valentino is like basically nothing's gonna hold me down. I this and this, and Strickland is taking on a different reaction. I'm trying to show y'all that though. How do I get to, where's my history? There we go, history, I see it. The layout is different. We as well in web design had to do that. We had to sketch how our layout would change from going from laptop to tablet to phone. Okay. Okay, so let's watch the two videos that I watched of Strickland today. I feel so bad. And it's like the people that was the news anchors, like they were reviewing it. They were seeming as though they're remorseful. But it's like, what can you do? Like literally, most of his life is behind him. And then you release him. And it's like, in a situation like where we are, me and my husband, you can release him now. Yes, he's lost a significant amount of his life, but you still have the chance to make it right before all of his life is behind him, like most of his life, or a good portion of his, a good portion. They're good. When people say, what's the, I told y'all, I think it was in the other video, my co-workers, like when people ask him how big are the fries and he says, oh, it's a good portion, then they're like, okay, yeah, I get it. Anytime you see a good portion, people just go for it. But a good portion of his life being stolen from him, like they have the ability to stop it now. Let's make it right now before it is like that 43 years Strickland did in prison. That's a long time. Valentino did 27, which is a long time as well. But who's to say how would Valentino feel the same? He could or couldn't if he did do 43 years. Your feelings change over years and years and years and years.
You've probably seen a gag with
All
donkeys
these
on
ads.
YouTube.
Please stop with these ads.
Strickland is a free man. I can't begin to say what all of
He
them.
seems
He was
so.
wrongly imprisoned.
He's seems joyful, but then it's also like a little cloud that it seems like a gloominess. But I can try to vaguely understand it though.
For 43 years and left prison today. No, I didn't think this day was going to come.
Wow, hard to comprehend. 43 years.
He spent most of his life in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Now, a year later, Kevin Strickland is experiencing moments he missed while locked up. He attended a family reunion took a plane to Florida for the first time and has been honored in multiple ways. KSHB 41 I-Team reporter Sarah Plate talked to Strickland about life outside of lockup and the one part of his journey he can't get past. Kevin Strickland left behind a world of gray concrete and iron 1 year ago, exonerated after spending 43 years, most of his life, in prison for a crime he didn't commit.
The year doesn't seem like a year, but I know it's very real.
He's free to come and go as he pleases now, but there's one piece of his old life he can't shake.
I wrestled with concrete and iron in the penitentiary for many years, so, I'm not comfortable unless I'm moving iron around.
For Kevin, easing into life outside the barbed wire fences starts at the gym.
All right, how you doing? I spent a lot of time here.
He's walking now.
This is my comfort zone. Going up against that iron, you can't never beat it. So it's like a challenge
He looks
thing.
good
Just
for his age.
the atmosphere, the weightlifting, and going up against something that I know I can't win.
You're gonna be sore, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because when you were in prison, I'm sure you felt that way, that you were going up against not only the iron, but just the system.
Yeah.
But you won.
That is symbolic, that iron system that is held intact by us, one, by us blindly supporting it, by lies, two, by corruption, three, and by a lot of other politics, four.
In the end, some people call it a victory. I do too. I'm glad to be out. I'm tickled to death to be out.
Kevin entered the prison system at 18 and came out a 62-year-old man.
And then that's Marcello was wrongfully arrested in 2001. Marcello was 19, about to turn 20 in a few months. And then in 2039, he was originally sentenced to 40 years, so it would have been from 2002, when trial was, to 2042. 42, he would be 61 when released. But after 10 years, Marcello started getting a little gain time. So instead of 42, it's down to 39, 2039 with gain time. So in 2039, Marcello will be like 58 years old. So from 19 to 58, Marcello will spend wrongfully behind bars. And I will spend much of my life fighting for him, because I can't see myself not fighting unless he's free.
This is the day in late November 2021 when he learned his nightmare was over, that he would leave those doors a free man. And this is when we first saw him, with the prison in Cameron, Missouri, in the distance.
I didn't think this day was going to come.
Yep, chest on it, good. He looks a lot different now.
34 pounds.
He shed the weight and the wheelchair.
From a wheelchair to a walker to a cane, and I just left the cane behind.
Thanks to a hip replacement and back surgery. Surgeries he's sure he would have never gotten in prison.
Work up a pretty good sweat doing.
DOC healthcare is girl. Rajiva the ruler got some story times about that. You got the story times about and then even Marcello went to the dentist and they actually pulled his tooth when he was just getting a cleaning. They done mixed up his chart with somebody else and said, "Oh, sorry," once they done pulled the teeth out his mouth. Like, girl, that healthcare, that's not really healthcare. And there was some things about that when the healthcare, the people that got that contract, like, whoo, there's some stuff about that going on and stuff.
It's not only transforming his physical health, but soothes his mind too.
Give me a chance to just think about my life and I work out the frustrations and I exercise the joys, messing with that iron.
Don't he look good for 60?
It's very, very therapeutic.
Wait,
But there's more joy than frustration, Kevin says.
60
He's with his kids and grandkids now.
They keep me on my toes.
He's just catching up on everyday things we take for granted, like driving.
A lot of driving. A lot of driving. I mean, I enjoy driving. And that's what I do. I just go random places and just hang out and just soak up life.
His life was like clockwork for 4 decades, so Kevin is still realizing he can get out and explore.
This is the first right here. Me just being on this part of the park right here, going across this area. I've never been this far.
When he was freed from prison, the state didn't give him a penny because he wasn't exonerated through DNA evidence. A GoFundMe that raised nearly $2 million helped Kevin get on his feet. His legal team is also helping him navigate what comes next. What has been the number one thing that you've learned about yourself over the last year you've been out?
I have no patience.
Wow.
I have no patience. I have no patience.
And he is just being honest. Now, I feel you. I feel you, Kevin. Oh my gosh, I feel you. And when I be honest like that, people would tend to want to say I'm negative. So some of the things that the reactions he's saying, people might want to look at as, oh, you're being negative. Look on the bright side, at least this, at least that. But he is saying how he truly feels. Let that man say how he feels.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. I need to go. I need to go.
He's also learned a lot of people are fascinated by his story, but he doesn't quite understand why.
I'm not impressed by it. I mean, what I'm doing, because I mean, I expect a lot of myself. I just attribute it to, you know, just desire to do better.
The memory of those 43 years will never go away, but they're in his
Dang,
rear.
and then hearing 43 years. That means even throughout Marcello's wrongful conviction, he still has a release date. And he still would do less time than Strickland did, even if he has to do his full wrongful conviction. But to see someone that actually did 40 years, like I'm dreading the 40 years. Marcello is 21 years in, more than halfway through this wrongful conviction. And I'm like, dang, they literally are really finna get all of his life. But then I have to sit back and see that, look, this man is living life after this 40-year sentence. Which means Marcello still does have that, what the judge claimed, a second chance at life. Because he did say, I would like to give Marcello Jackson life. But just so he has a second chance in life, I will only give him 40 years. Like as if that was just a vacation or just a timeout. 40 years. But this is a man that did 40 years plus 3. And look how good he looked coming out. Girl.
Mirror now, with a new journey ahead.
I have an opportunity now to be out here and connect and bond with my family, and that's a big deal for me. You know, that's a real big deal for me. Things are coming.
I can't even imagine how my life will be once we both are released from this wrongful conviction. Oh my, that's something I couldn't even, that would be like you wondering how it would be if you won the lottery. I promise you. Like, I just couldn't even imagine it. Like, ugh.
So good to hear from him and see that he's doing so well, but I have to ask, Sarah, what does he say is next for him?
A whole lot of stuff. He wants to go to Brazil, the Bahamas, Australia, all those places that he used to see on the prison TVs, and now they're places he can actually go and experience for himself. And so he still can't vote after all of this. He still can't vote, which is something that he and his legal team are trying to work out. But I cannot thank him enough for giving his time to...
And I would say the reason they don't want, a lot of the reason why they don't want people that have done their time to vote is because votes would turn out a lot different. Because the people that have done their time are the people that truly know what's happening in this system and behind the scenes. and with your favorite politicians that we just vote for blindly and stuff. Like, they literally know what's happening. So they would be a more educated voter than we, tend to be. That's why they don't want them in there.
And sharing your story with me. I mean, Kevin, you're looking good. I mean, you see the difference. I mean, that light is just radiating. And after all that time, you don't have to be patient for anything, as far as I'm concerned.
deserves it.
Thanks, Sarah.
Wow.
Great story, Sarah.
Well, if you have a tip you'd like our I-team to investigate, send us an email. It's investigators.
Wow. Okay, so where's that other one that I watched? God bless them. God bless you, Kevin Strickland. This is my watch history, y'all. A lot of Chosen One, a lot of psychological stuff, dealing with narcissism. Oh, I watched 3 on him. I didn't realize that. I watched 3 videos. And once we're finished watching these together, baby, I got to go to sleep because it's after 4. I might not wake up for my workshop, and I might better take my shower again tonight. That long, hot shower earlier relieved some of my muscle tension.
After 43 years behind bars, 62-year-old Kevin Strickland is talking to us about his efforts to start a new life as a free man. Strickland was sent to prison in 1979 for a crime he did not commit. Last week, a Missouri judge ordered his immediate release, citing clear and convincing evidence that Strickland was wrongfully convicted. Erin Moriarty sat down with Strickland for his first in-person television interview since his release, but she has reported extensively on his story, and she's here with us now. Erin, good morning.
Good morning. So, Strickland left prison with very little. The state won't provide him any financial assistance and even took away his wheelchair. Really. In the last few days, family and friends and thousands of strangers have rallied around him as he tries to start a life he never got to live.
He's here!
What did that feel like on Tuesday, November 23rd, going out for the last time?
The day that I walked out, you mean, rolled out? Man, I'm finna enter into a space age I know nothing about.
It's been a whirlwind of a week for Kevin Strickland, who once feared he'd die in prison.
3, 2, 1.
And that's the thing. Some would look at it as though you got that chance. Like he said, he thought he would die in prison, but yet he's not going to die in prison. But it feels like once he received this freedom, he's like, dang, it's still something missing. To receive your freedom doesn't fix all the wounds. That's what it is. It's like, it's what you dreamed about. So that I know once Marcello comes home, that's not going to fix all the wounds. Like, those wounds are deeply seated now. And you don't just get out and get over it. Get out and get over it. That's basically what they want to tell you. Get out, get over it. Here's some money. Took your life, tough titty. Like, girl. And then in his case, Strickland, they don't, in his state, they do not pay you for wrongful conviction unless cleared by DNA.
The 62-year-old joined the mayor at Kansas City's Christmas tree lighting ceremony, received more than $1 million in donations to a trust fund set up by the Midwest Innocence Project, and shaved off the beard he'd promised to remove as a free man.
Done deal. Done deal.
But after 43 years behind bars, some things are harder to leave behind.
I'm still referring to my bed as a bunk, as my room as a cell, sleeping light, paranoid, always on alert, suspicious of everything. Yeah, I'm still there. I haven't shook that off yet. And somebody shook my hand. I thought, what do you want?
So the world has changed a great deal since you went in.
Is this the same planet? I mean, yes, yeah. I I'm still trying to figure out how to open my telephone.
What do you mean?
I don't know how to.
Roe Clausen had explained it like her husband was the Encino Man. Y'all remember that back in the 80s, Encino Man. But she explained it as though her husband was like the Encino Man. Because, I mean, time changed. It's like being frozen. They're not preparing you to come back out. They don't perceive that you're going to come back out. They threw him away. They didn't perceive that they needed to rehabilitate him because they threw him out.
No. They're trying to move me all the emojis and I'm trying to say hello.
Strickland was sent to prison in 1979 after being wrongfully convicted of a triple homicide.
He been in prison longer than I have walked this earth. I was born in 81. He's been in prison since. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is breaking my heart, y'all.
By an all-white jury. In May of 2021, the local prosecutor, Jean Peters Baker, declared Strickland factually innocent, but had to fight the state attorney general in court to secure Strickland's release. Did you ever expect that it would be this long and this hard?
No, nope. It was surprising. Discouraging, disheartening. They wanted him to stay right where he was.
But during a 3-day hearing, Missouri Judge James Welsh did look at the evidence and ruled that the court's confidence in Strickland's conviction is so undermined that it cannot stand. 6 months after Peters Baker's press conference, Strickland was finally on his way home. How did you hear you were getting out of prison?
Oh, I watch soaps in the daytime, one particular. I could hear other inmates banging on their door and beating on the wall, hollering my name. And I went up to the door and they said, man, you're getting out, you're getting out, you're getting out.
If you had cut a deal, you would have been out 20 years ago at least.
Or maybe 30. No, that would.
And that's that, like I tell you how they trying to force Marcello to plead. If you plead, then they'll let you go. But then you're in turn saying that you did do the crime that they're wrongfully accusing you of. When you sit behind that, there's many people, and that's why, because a lot of people took the plea, does not necessarily mean that these people are guilty as well. Just like Marcello's acting public defender said, it's like I'm your doctor, and if you had a cancer in your arm, that would out you. If I didn't tell you about it and I let you, just go blindly with this cancer in your arm and then you die, I would not be a very good doctor. He was like, you have a 5% chance of winning at trial. Are you going to take the plea? And Marcello ended with saying, I cannot take 17 years for something I didn't do. And the conversation ended with that lawyer saying, okay, well then kiss your daughter goodbye. And that's exactly what it was.
Required me to lie. I mean, do a crime that I didn't do. I just did.
That's why I tell you, trials are not to come to, the actual truth. That ain't why they having trial. They having them trials to keep up the illusion of our rights being maintained. I see trial as being more like a stage play. Like a mockery, basically.
No regrets.
No. I'm sitting here today and I didn't do it. I still got a few years in me and I'm just going to try to make the best of them the rest of the way.
Strickland is now focused on starting a life he says he never got to live, including reconnecting with his daughter, who was just 7 weeks old when he was arrested. Have you?
Marcello was 2 months, about the same age when he was wrongfully arrested. They said his daughter was seven weeks. But see, in Marcello's case, I kept that bond together. I kept, like Monica said, on that dusty road, taking her to see him. Money would not know Marcello from nowhere if I hadn't been taking her to visitation, which at times I kind of blame myself for, her heartbreak. So I'm like, dang, she wouldn't even know her father if I didn't, do that. But I always wanted her to have the choice. the court system does not get to decide whether our daughter has a relationship with her father. I wanted her to decide that. Not our corrupted system deciding that. So it seems like possibly in his case, most likely happened what always happens majority of the time. Whoever, if you are with a woman, she's gone after a little while, and you can't blame her. If I had a turn and never looked back, never been there, how could you blame me? Because I had to do what was best for me or my child. So those women that did not stay, you can't blame them women. You have to let someone go and let them fly. And Marcello told me, you can't do this time with me. Granted, I didn't think it would take this long. But he told me a long time ago. And then as we reassess, he's like, Keita, this is killing you. You can't stay here with me. You have to leave me. And I'm like, I can't. It feels like I'm leaving him in a dungeon or something. I cannot leave him. He has nobody else fighting for him. I cannot walk away from him when he needs me. And I claim to love him.
Talked to her since you got out?
Yes, I'm gonna go with the short answer, yes.
And does she want to see you?
Yes, she's adamant about it. Yes. She's gonna give me a whole week.
Seriously?
She's gonna give me a whole week. Yeah. So we might not sleep. So I'm making our itinerary now. We're doing everything I can think of.
Do you feel like
I could only imagine seeing Marcello and Money together outside with him free. Oh my God. Like, girl, I probably couldn't even paint a more beautiful picture.
a second chance? You got to fill it up to make up for everything you've lost.
Yes. And they try to tell me one step at a time, slow down, but they didn't miss 43. I did.
Thank you.
So I got to go.
The Missouri Attorney General's office said that it was defending the rule of law, but that the court has spoken and it will not pursue further action. Strickland says that he wants to get involved in the legislative process, to help other inmates prove their innocence, and also to guarantee financial compensation for future exoneration.
Yes, make it have meaning. Make it have meaning. That means his wrongful conviction was not for nothing. His life had meaning, has meaning. Yes, make it have meaning.
Is something he's not getting.
Such a heartbreaking story. Why is he in a wheelchair, Aaron?
He suffers from spinal stenosis that went pretty much untreated in prison, which is like the narrowing, I think I'm not a doctor, spinal cord. So he's hoping that now some of that money that he can, get some kind of help, some kind of treatment.
So he can walk again,
that's
possibly?
That's what, he can stand, but just not for long periods of time. And he does want to be able to just walk and get rid of the wheelchair.
And close to $2 million may sound like a lot of money, but when you look at all that he needs, and all that he's lost, it doesn't seem like very much to me compared to what he
starting from the beginning. I mean, he had to buy clothes. He had no clothes to fit him. Shoes. He's very proud he bought $10 shoes. A basic ID, driver's license. I mean, he has nothing.
Yeah.
Although a lot of people are touched. I mean, thousands of people, strangers, are helping him out.
Yeah.
I'm glad he gets to see his daughter and his grandbabies.
Making
up for lost
I know, and they're grown though. I mean, they're.
I'll never break the story of Marcello Jackson on my own. I need you guys. Though I don't want to beg no more. I'm too proud to keep begging. I'm not TLC. Ain't too proud to beg. I wasn't at one point too proud to beg. But just begging makes you look crazy after a while. So I'm kind of tired of begging. But girl, I need your help.
Bunnies.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I want to show you.
It's one more, and I gotta go on to sleep. Okay, the last one. So he still got a few years in him. Pray that he has a lot more than a few. Exonerated after 43 years in jail, despite his innocence. Jail and prison is different, but people try to use it. That's how little people know about our system. They literally don't even know the difference between jail and prison, which is sad. But it's a difference. But how you gonna spend 43 years in jail? You can't. It's prison.
Kevin Strickland was exonerated a few weeks ago after spending 43 years in prison in one of the longest wrongful imprisonments in U.S. history. In 1978, Strickland was arrested at only 18 years old in a triple murder case. He was convicted the next year despite no physical evidence tying him to the crime. The sole survivor.
Y'all remember, I'm telling y'all to keep note of that. They keep doing this without physical evidence. No physical evidence in Marcello Jackson's case or Valentino Dixon's as well.
Of the attack, Cynthia Douglas, only named Strickland after her sister's boyfriend,
Oh,
suggested he
and John Bunn. No physical evidence in his either.
could have been one of the perpetrators. And her relatives later said that she was pressured to identify Strickland by detectives. Strickland's first
That
trial
part.
ended in a hung jury with the
I told y'all about Marcello's arresting officer and his track record. Girl, I had to find that video and link that in the description box. But accused of over-outing somebody and then having all these different stories once he did. He and 4 other officers did. Then they all had different stories of why they did it.
a black juror holding out. The prosecutor in the case later said including a black juror was a mistake he wouldn't make again.
Wow.
Strickland was then convicted by an all-white jury and spent 43 years in prison. Last year, prosecutors started reviewing his conviction after the Kansas City Star published an investigation, and he was pronounced innocent in May. But the Republican Attorney General delayed a hearing on the case twice, maintaining Strickland was guilty. And Republican Governor Mike Parson said Strickland's case was not a priority. Instead, he pardoned the McCloskeys, the couple who felt the need to pull guns on Black Lives Matter protesters and wave them around. During that time, Strickland's mother died, and he was unable to attend her funeral. Though he's now exonerated, the state of Missouri gave Strickland nothing for what he went through. The Midwest Innocence Project, which has been representing him since 2018, created a GoFundMe for Strickland, which has since raised $1.7 million, hardly compensation for losing 43 years. I'm joined now by Kevin Strickland, who indeed was released after those 43 years in prison, and Tricia Rojo Bushnell, Kevin's attorney and executive director of the Midwest Innocence Project. Thank you both for being here. And Mr. Strickland, I first want to say to you, I am glad to see you. I think obviously what happened to you was just the ultimate, sort of miscarriage of justice. You were only 18 years old when this happened. You are now 61, 62 years old. Talk about...
They took, the minute this man turned an adult, they took his whole adulthood. Marcello at least had that 1 year of adulthood. Because they took his year of being 18 to 19. He had that out. Then he had a little bit of time when he turned 20, maybe 6 months of that out on his bond. And from 21, end of 20, turning 21, to now he's about to be 42. So Marcello as well really has no adulthood free. Doesn't know what it is to be an adult in this world. God. And we still don't care. Y'all still don't care? We ain't talking about Marcello now. I know y'all tired of hearing about him. We talking about other humans that have been, and for each person, Strickland represents a whole family destroyed. That conviction, the wrongful conviction, affects a whole family. Valentino represents a whole family destroyed. John Bunn represents a whole family destroyed behind this. Marcello Jackson represents a family destroyed behind this. Though we were destroyed, set up to be destroyed, and we very much have side effects of this, we didn't let it break us. And neither did they. It didn't break them. But what could they, if they're this resilient, what could they have been without this happening? Who could they have been?
Going away from society as basically a kid and coming out now, what has changed? What have you missed?
They done did this to so many of our young black boys, and we just seem to not care because we like to say, oh, well, that's all them young black boys doing anyway.
That you've missed?
Everything. I mean, the technology that you're dealing with today, I'm not familiar with it. It's difficult. I'm having a phone issue every day, trying to learn how to just turn a phone on.
Yeah.
I mean, just going into public restrooms and sticking my hand out and paper towel will come out or the soap will come out. They didn't have that kind of system back then. Just, little things like there's a lot. Just the roadways. Navigating the roadways is something. There's nothing familiar about this to me.
It is. It's like it's almost like you went to sleep in 1978 and then you woke up and there's this whole new world. I mean, you're on a Zoom right now. That was something that wouldn't have been familiar to you. It is unfathomable to me. But even worse is what you've lost as a human being. I mean, you lost your mom. Was there family who you knew back then who are still here for you and surrounding you with love? Like, what did you come back to in terms of your family?
Family moves on without
this
you.
situation kind of busted my family up a little bit. You know, people were somewhat disappointed. You know, I was the first one in my family to be sentenced to a prison term. And, you know, my family were law-abiding citizens. And they kind of, you know, I kind of shamed them, disappointed, disgraced the family name. And so a lot of family kind of, you know, turned away from me. But there's still a few that's still hanging in there.
Hey, let me ask you very quickly, Ms. Bushnell, and thank you for coming back. We had you on before this, you know, the actual release happened. This is devastating because we know the job prospects for people who have, you know, a record, even though he's been, you know, Mr. Strickland has been cleared and is declared innocent, he now has to deal with a world in which those who have been incarcerated or discriminated against in the workplace. He's a black man in a country where that doesn't exactly help him in terms of getting jobs and getting opportunities.
Can you imagine your first job ever at 62? Literally from 18, I done worked at Cinnabon, Winn-Dixie, KFC, Walmart, the theme park, cash advance place, Westgate. I done worked so many places. And I'm going on 42. And I worked my longest job was 12 years at Walmart overnight. Because my husband was snatched out the house, wrongfully convicted, I had to go find a night job because I couldn't afford daycare and to take care of our child because my husband, believe it or not, was taking care of our child. So when you lose that provider, you got to figure it out. Like we're left to scramble and pick up the pieces. 12 years, my current job with the theme park, I'm about to hit 10 years. And to think his first job would be after the age of 62. Wow.
Now, what is to be done? The money that was raised, that's not going to change 100% of his life.
Money doesn't fix it.
No, I mean, I think
there's no amount
I think Kevin would be the first to say there's nothing we can ever do that will give him back what he's lost, right? I mean, there's nothing we can do that can give him not being there for his children.
But you can stop this system from doing this. You can stop this. We could stop this if we cared. We can make them stop this.
A relationship, getting married, having a career, all of those things. And so when we look at the what now, it's not just it's just like, you know, in the same way as when anyone comes home from an incarceration, for the wrongfully incarcerated, there's also additional hurdles in that there aren't any services provided for them. So when someone gets out on probation or parole, the state has to provide services to help you find housing and education. That's not the case for someone who's exonerated. And so for Kevin, not only is it trying to navigate what to do with this amount of money, but he's not entitled to Social Security because he didn't pay into that system. Wow. And how do you start a life or return a life that you didn't have when you went in at 18 and when you're now 62? Yeah. It's just a very different scenario. So, you know, it's really what do we owe him for the wrong that we did?
Well, what people who support you, and there's so many people out there who are praying for your exoneration.
This is why criminal justice reform is needed. There's too many getting caught in these snares, and I'm telling you, it's way more than we know. Way more than we know.
Sir, and now you are free. What do you want? What do you want to do with your time? And you know, what can we do to support you?
This entire experience has kind of made me not want to live in a city life. I mean, I need space.
They target inner cities for this stuff.
I need to be able to, you know, I still don't feel free right now. I've been out 2 weeks and I'm still in jail.
Yeah.
And what society can do to help me along, it's difficult to say. I really can't say that they can, because it's the thing that's going on in my mind are some things that you could never imagine witnessing.
Yeah.
And I'm still in jail.
I am so sorry, sir. I'm so sorry for what happened to you.
And the family very much is in jail as well. He's not even incarcerated anymore, but he's still the side effects of that incarceration. So you only have to incarcerate somebody so long, and then you end up mentally incarcerating them. You can end up mentally incarcerated. And that's what happened. I would say widely. Now, when we talk about Valentino Dixon, he says he always knew he was going to come home. So he prepared for it. He knew he was coming home, even though he didn't technically know, but it was an impression in his heart. He knew it, just like Marcello knows it. And I'm like, baby, I don't see that. Like, what you see? That's like, girl, I don't see that. But Strickland says he never thought. He gave it up. He was like, I'm gonna die in here. He gave it up. So he no longer thought that time would come. But it came. So he didn't prepare for it like that. He just was, it's hard enough to do the time. Dang, that reminds me of Q-Tip back in 2001 released this movie called Prison Song. Oh my God, I love that movie. Do the time, don't let the time do you right. Take a glimpse into my life at the end of the tunnel. Do you see the light? Yes. Do the time, don't let the time do you right. Yeah. I knew. Oh my God, that was my movie. I need to do a review on that now that we're doing reviews and such. I used to watch that all the time because that was like the only thing that I had that I could relate to of this prison situation, because this is, people don't talk about it, and if we do talk about it, we don't have the right discussions about it. Like, we definitely don't talk about wrongful convictions because there's no way.
And I wish there was a way that we could just give you back that time, because that time is something we can't give it back. But I know so many people are going to be praying for you and thinking about you. I hope you find the most amazing farmland that you can just be by yourself and just have space and have everything that you've ever wanted. Wishing you the very best, sir. And thank you for giving us a little bit of your time tonight. Kevin Strickland and Trisha Rojo Bushnell, thank you both very much.
Okay, guys, I better get my behind to sleep. Or I better have some type of excuse. That's why I'm late. Okay, so thank you guys for joining me, yo girl Cadillac, on this live. First, it was a Dollar Tree crafters haul, basically. See over there, get more stuff stacked up. Dollar Tree. $1.25 tree. I keep forgetting that part. And then we worked on these. I actually got these from $1.25 tree. So I started just doing my sketch. And I'm going to probably outline it with like paint or marker or something. These are Marcello's charges. I want to basically illustrate how they stacked his charges by literally stacking his charges. Yes, girl. All right, guys. So I will see y'all tomorrow. Hopefully work goes by fast for me, girl. And hopefully it goes... What is this on my eye? Something on my face, girl. Like I got crumbs everywhere. All right, guys. I'm finna be going to bed. It's your girl, Cadillac. Thank you for joining me.